Welcome to Post-Burnout.com interviews. My name is Aaron Kavanagh and I'm the website's founder and editor-in-chief. Post-Burnout.com is a culture website dedicated to venerating burnt-out artists the world over. Our interviews are mainly recorded to be transcribed, but every now and again we release the audio in a series we call Post-Burnout.com interviews. If you enjoy what we do, be sure to subscribe. In this edition of Post-Burnout.com interviews, we speak with British four-piece The Chaos. They talk about their new single Chancer, playing the main stage of festivals like Reading+Leeds, playing their first Irish festival at Sea Sessions this June, the hit success of their first single Sarajevo, their ideas for an album or an EP, balancing being rock stars with having regular jobs, their growth and more. I want to note that the audio in this episode isn't great, and that's because this was recorded backstage at the Grand Social when the band visited Dublin. There was one tape recorder in between everyone in the back room. There's also a bit of a humming noise in the background. This was kind of a refrigerator thing that was in the backstage. We have tried our best to do some noise reduction on this episode, but it could only be salvaged so much. Still, we decided to release this as an episode of the podcast because we thought the conversation was fun and the banter was kind of interesting. So we hope you enjoy regardless. So I guess first thing to just ask is, like, you guys have been around for like over almost a decade now at this point, right?
Well, 5 years, isn't it? Yeah, 5 years since Ryan joined. That's a big kind of class hitters.
Yeah, so we had a band when we was at school, but we never did fuck all. We only started releasing music 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Might be, you know what, might be 16 years this year.
Yeah, I think it is.
Fucking mad that. COVID, because of COVID, like, you just lose track of everything. We lost like 2 years, you know, we couldn't solve for like nearly 2 years, so.
Yeah, I mean, your first single like hit the ground running. Obviously, everyone wants to, you know, kind of make it, but like when it actually happens, is it surprising when? Like when it actually happens, and
still don't feel like me.
Well, I mean, it was with like a huge hit, right?
What's that? Sorry.
Your debut single. I mean,
Sarajevo. Yeah. That's sort of
what
rocketed us.
It was unexpected, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We didn't have a clue what was going on. It was the first time we'd ever released a track, like we'd ever released a track on any streaming platform or anything. It was just like, this is fucking easy. It's not what I got to do. Found out since then it's not always as easy, but every release we have does really well. So yeah, it was good. Definitely a good way to start.
You use a single that's called Chancer. I was wondering how you think that's like changed, like in terms of like your music over the years. I think it's still more kind of the same.
I feel like we try and play a little bit more now, as opposed to just.
Yeah, we've all learned how to play our instruments.
We used to love the punky stuff. We still do, don't get me wrong, but we definitely want to show that we can play as well. And I think we're hoping maybe in Chancer and the new singles coming up. To be fair though, we're always fucking sick for that. Yeah. But then when we can do it all basically. But then we like to show the fact that we can.
Yeah, I mean, like, and you guys have been playing like some like mad festivals across UK and Europe. Obviously, playing like mainstage, Reading+Leeds, and Writing. That's like, I think this you're playing Sea Sessions. This is your first time doing the festival here in August, I think. Yeah,
I can't fucking wait for it. Is it in Northern Ireland, not Republic?
The Republic's it's on the north, but it's in the Republic.
Yeah, because somebody messaged me on. We put the caption on, and somebody messaged him was like, "Oh, it's not in Ireland. It's in Northern Ireland or something like that." But then I had a look, and it said it was in Republic of Ireland.
They're trolling.
It's like, there's like some sort of weird thing there where it seems to be in both or something. I don't know about that.
Do you have any expectations for that show, or just kind of play it?
I don't know. To be honest, it's just
extra what?
Any expectations.
Oh right, it's a good lineup, isn't it? So it's going to be a good festival.
It's sick. I can't wait to come over here and play.
Like a full sort.
Yeah, like do a festival over here and like play to big crowds, because obviously the crowds that we play to in England and Scotland and stuff are a lot bigger than in the Republic of Ireland. So, but I think that's due to the fact that we've not played these sort of things up here, playing in front of crowds and had that sort of organic growth for the fan base over here. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting started properly on that.
As you mentioned, I mean, this show, I think it's part of a 12-day UK and Ireland tour.
Yeah, well, it was 13 with Royal Albert Hall. Yeah,
oh, yeah.
Just 3 Royal Albert Hall in there.
Well, that's a good point, though. It's like, I mean, the show you're doing tonight is obviously a lot more intimate, so how do you kind of accommodate for that?
Yeah, do you know what? I prefer it, mate. We were having this conversation the other day. I genuinely do sort of prefer the smaller, more intimate shows, I think. The massive ones are good, don't get me wrong, but I mean, I don't know.
Less hot than massive ones.
Yeah.
Do you like shooting shit with the audience between songs and all that?
Yeah,
we
chat a lot of shit, don't we?
Yeah, it's usually because fuck some awkward bros.
So like you kind of get bigger and you're playing like the bigger festival halls and you're playing like bigger arenas and stuff that's like in sport and shit. Like, do you think you kind of lose that aspect when you're doing that, or is that something you kind of worry about? Like, it's like, do you still think you can chat shit to the audience? Or
yeah, I think we can chat shit to any audience.
Depends how many beers you've had.
Stuck for words on stage.
It's literally like the specialities of playing music and chatting shit. And that's where our list of talents end.
Well, going back to Chancellor, as you were saying, I mean, like, I think like a lot of your songs are kind of short stories, right? I mean, they're like, this one's about kind of being lost in the city and going to a certain club, and like, but it's just kind of like narrative. So I was just wondering, I mean, like, how much you kind of draw from reality and which is just completely fictionalized.
It's all completely fiction.
Yeah,
it's not all completely fiction. There's definitely there's nothing we ever do is completely fiction, but on some right.
It's a story about a typical lad's night out.
Yeah, definitely. There's a situation that I don't know. I thought people could relate to.
You don't have to incriminate yourself. You don't want.
That's the thing. We're all sat here like, what do we say? But yeah, everything we do is always written about something. Like, I don't think we can sit and write just about nothing. I feel like a lot of people. I feel like you can tell straight away when people do that.
Yeah.
You sit down, it's just going to be like fucking. Just talking shit in a song, and I feel like you can tell that it's just all sort of. That's when music starts to sound the same to me. If you're not writing about stuff that actually means something to you, or at least is of an experience to yours, or you know what I mean?
I do. But do you think it's important then to like read authors or anything like that, or do you just like stick to other songwriters? Because I think like for a lot of songwriters, like you have to kind of expand your horizon a bit, like read different shit.
So that's an interesting question actually, because for the first time, and we're talking the last couple of weeks, I've actually like started taking somewhat of an interest in poetry and things like that. So not so far, but I was speaking to my manager about it. Another artist he manages does a lot of that, and I was like, do you know what? I'm never considering like a write fucking song.
Yeah.
I never actually read any poetry or like that, so I wouldn't mind like sort of being a bit more well versed on that. Pardon the pun. But yeah, so I think it's definitely something we're going to look into. But we're still just fucking writing songs, going out and getting pissed. Every single one is about being out and just fucking not really knowing what's going on.
Well, there's poetry in that, I think there is, like, in legitimately, like, the way you kind of describe the dancer in the song. I think there is a poetic element.
Yeah.
I mean, I was reading an interview with you guys that was taken, I think, sometime last year. I think it was around summertime last year. And you were talking about, like, potentially dropping an EP at some point. You think you'd want to do an EP before an album. But you said like you want to get like a label behind before you do that. Is that still something, or what be like the version to self-release?
Since then, basically at the start of this year, we've got a new team in place. We've got a new song manager, we've got a new and two new managers. So it's the same agent, Sarah Ace, but so the plans are just completely changed now to the point where we're just going to get as much stuff out for people to listen to as possible, because that's been our biggest downfall, is not releasing enough music. And there was a lot of reasons for that. One of the main reasons was that our live schedule was so busy, we genuinely didn't have time to fucking record any music, because back then we were using like holidays from work and things, so like once annual leave would run out, like we couldn't do any studio days or like that. So now get as much out as possible, just keep building, keep having this organic growth that we're having, and there's a lot of other stuff regarding deals and things like that going on behind the scenes, but now we can just focus on the music side of it and let all that sort itself out with the people that...
It's that weird contrast, like releasing music that's getting like millions of streams and then just like working a regular job at the same time.
Shit. It's fucking weird. It's weird. People are always saying like they don't know how we adjust.
Yeah.
But he's getting less and less. He's nearly there now.
Yeah. So is that the plan, just to do it like full time? I heard tell you we're full time at the moment now.
Which not. So don't know, some of us work full time. I'd think it's a push to say, do you work?
No, I don't work.
No, so like,
he's just a bum though.
I work loosely, like sometimes we'll do a day.
He did that old compared to me. I've only just finished uni.
The kid in the
So
ground.
So yeah, I don't really have a job, I just do this.
Yeah. You guys were saying.
Yeah, it's so yeah, it can be hard to adjust sometimes, but it's not like it's hard, you know. It's like everybody is in a band at the minute until you sign, and that dotted line has to make it work side by side. And I know that's why a lot of bands, really good bands, end up fucking jacking it in because it gets so intense. But we fucking love it. Like, it's better than just sitting at home and just going to the same pub every week. It's what we'd be doing if we weren't doing this.
Man, that's fucking insane though. Like that you guys are like playing like the biggest like festivals and shit, and then just like it's a real like interesting contrast. I don't know. Like,
It's crazy, mate. It's crazy.
The
sooner it's over, the better.
I guess you don't have to say here if you don't want it, but do you have ideas of like what labels you'd like to sign with if
No.
it came to it?
No.
Or just kind of.
We've just offers them money.
This conversation's being had, isn't there? But we've already got like a year worth of releases planned.
Yeah.
So like, there's a few more releases coming out this year, and then later some form of work, body of work or whatever. I don't know what I'm going to call it.
Yeah. I think the fact that we're not in a rush anymore, I feel like that was the end goal for us.
Yeah.
When we thought like we'll sign a deal and everything will just be fucking sunshine and rainbows, but I'm not saying it won't be, but I mean, in the meantime we've realised that we can actually make it work really, really well. Selling out tours like this by us just releasing music and doing it on our own. So now we're just, like I said before, we're just focused on the music and let that shit sort itself out. Like we trust the people that we have working on that side of things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they know what they're doing. We just fucking stick to the songwriting and the playing part of it.
Yeah, so and like now you guys have all the leverage now because like you can bring stuff to the table. You're like, look, we have these organic fans, we have these mainstreams. We're already doing these tours.
Give us loads of fucking money.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see what we want.
Yeah.
But you guys were talking about like curating, like for an album that you want to closely curate what's on the debut because it's like such an important thing. I was wondering, like, do you now that you've had so many years of playing, do you kind of look back at older songs, you're like, oh fuck, I could do that so much better now, or anything like
Definitely the recording, because we still use the same producer for Chancer and for Hometown.
Literally, they were the same, weren't they?
As the one we did like Sarajevo and Got a Feeling with and stuff like that, like the first ones. We had a few different producers in between, but we even speak to him about it, about how much better, like, he's got a lot more experience now, we've got a lot more experience now, like, about how much better they be if we re-record. So they'll definitely be re-recorded at some point. Whether re-released properly, I don't know. But we'll get the re-recordings down because we're getting to the stage now where it's going to be fucking like hard work picking up the wrong first album, but it's a good position to be in.
It's trial and error, isn't it? With studios, like you get shit ones and you get good ones, and you've just got to sort of try it and then you figure out where.
Yeah,
where
some songs that are really good live, like you get recording back and you think it's fucking
shit.
Right.
Do you think I'll say is like between releasing singles every couple of months, I mean, you get kind of repeat feedback in a way. Like if you drop an album, that's the album. It's just kind of ill. Or if you do a single, it's like, you know. So it is kind of like, again, gaming the system, you know.
But we know our worth, though. This is why, like, we have people asking us constantly, every single time we put a picture of fucking anything out on Instagram or something, and we'll have comments saying like, when's the album on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. And we don't want to do where we just put an album out for the sake of it.
You can't throw it out and waste it, can you?
No,
Just go to
our debut album, if we have the right backing on it, we know how good it'll be, we know how far it'll go, and so we're biding our time with these singles for a bit, and then when the album drops, it'll be number one. I'm confident.
Do you guys test songs out live before recording them?
Yeah, but I can't remember. I feel like most of the set is out now. How many tunes are out now?
Yeah, Dacton's out.
Dacton, Relying on You.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Just two, yeah.
Just the two? Yeah, so everything else is out, so we must have more than...
So it's basically an album out.
So we got, but what, like I said before, what songs go on the album, I don't know, but it's always a good way to feel it out, like, especially with hoping maybe in Chance the last two releases, like, everybody's just like, release Chance, well before we even announce it's going to be, and it's the same, people have been saying that about hoping maybe for fucking 5 years.
Yeah.
But we wanted to release it at the right time. We feel like we did because it's obviously went down a treat and everyone loves it.
Do you ever think it's a bit dicey testing songs live like that, because you might have a good song but it's kind of at the whim of the audience that night, and stuff might get kind of scrapped even if it's good, just because maybe the audience wasn't receptive for whatever reason?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's always easier playing songs that people know in terms of the feedback, but if someone's really like Hoping maybe is the prime example. If someone's really catching and people love it straight away, then you know that you're onto a winner.
We picked the Raw, didn't we? Because it went down so well in that fucking gig. It just went absolutely nuts the first time we ever played it. So it was like, right, that's the next single.
Yeah. So we want.
It's the same with Hometown, because that got put out as soon as we wrote it, really, because we thought, fucking hell, that's really good. And we had a couple that we was going to release before that, but then we wrote Hometown. It was fucking hell, that's got to be next.
Yeah. Do you guys feel you get the same reception when you're doing like support slots or festival slots as you do when you do headline slots? I mean, obviously, in one case, people are there for you. But
Festival slots, yes, most of the time, depending where it is. Like
support slots can be not. Yeah. It depends on the crowd or what band you're supporting. Like, James did us great. The James tour did us great, didn't it? Because we've seen a lot of people, but it's a completely different crowd to say Liverpool headline show, which we did 2 days ago, which was absolutely nuts.
Full of fucking young adults, absolutely pissed out of the brains, and that's not really the same James shows.
Well, we get a full range of audience. From
little
kids to elderly people, so it's good to have that range.
I guess the final thing I'll ask, just like, what's kind of future plans then, immediate or distant?
Go to the pub and drink lots of Guinness.
Go and drink 10 pints of Guinness and then just hopefully get through this.
It's good to have realistic expectations.
No, just keep releasing music, mate. So festivals start in a couple of weeks. We need some, to be honest, I don't sound like a boring company, I think we need a weekend or two off. After this tour, it's been fucking ace, but like, it's so intense tour, like doing such a heavy tour with just a couple of days off and then you're back out after a while. So we'll do that and then we'll get back in the rehearsal room and then festival start in, start of May? Oh no, 29th of April, isn't it? Sound City. I feel like there might be one before that. But so basically it's going to be couple of weeks max of just like laying low, maybe getting into some writing time, because it's always nice to get in and get writing in between, and then fucking straight back out onto festival season, and then another tour in November. I think
he's going to be playing new places, or kind of places you're familiar with
on the tour.
Yeah,
I don't know. We don't really. we get told that. So our agent Charlie and John Giddins from Solo, Charlie Vidal and John Giddins, they sort all that side of stuff out, so we just leave them to it because they're fucking ace.
Just tell us where to go.
It's just like, just tell us where you need us to be on what day, and we'll be there, and they say everything outside, they're really, really good. So yeah, we'll see. There is a massive, our biggest ever show is on that tour. I'm not going to say what we're doing. But so tour again towards the back end of the year, and in the middle, release some tunes, and see what happens.
Play some fizzes and drink some Guinness.
Yeah. So is there anything else you like to have before we wrap up? Or?
I think so, because finish the tour and then start the festival. And then come back to Ireland a couple of weeks. When is that, June, isn't it?
June, yeah.
Is it?
Which one?
That C session.
August sometime, I don't know.
Oh, is it August?
Yeah, I think it's August, yeah.
Honestly, I've not a fucking clue what's going on there. I'm just like winging it every day.
Tour delirium. Thanks very much.
Very welcome, mate. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to that episode of Post-Burnout.com interviews. We hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for more.